Today I show you how I dry down soundboards, what this means, and everything you have to know about soundboard repairs. This is a Grotrian Steinway 200 grand piano from 1915. When I bought this piano, you could barely see any cracks on the soundboard, so the man who sold me this, he told me, there are no cracks. And I said, let's see if that's true, because often in summer you don't see cracks, you have a high humidity, and then in winter when it gets dry, they come and you see them, and in spring they disappear, because the wood, when it's humidity is high, the wood goes like this, and it's everything fine, and when it dries out, then it comes together and you will find these cracks. So let's see, what about this soundboard? Here we see after 3 weeks of intense drying, we have several cracks. This one is probably new, I didn't find this before. Here we have one, and here it's almost always one here. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cracks. That's not too much, it's not very much, that's okay. That's the only one I saw before, but of course when I repair a soundboard I want to be really sure that it won't have cracks again, so it makes sense to really dry it down. Now I show you how I do this. So the whole piano is covered, and then here we have a heating, here we have a dehumidifier, here we have a control station of temperature. Here we can set the humidity. Here I can see where we are. Now we have 28%. I usually go down to 25% for 1 week. I start with 40, then 30, then 25. The whole process takes about 3 weeks. And then when I see, okay, there's nothing moving anymore, the cracks have opened. And here I have very cool stuff. This is an Etatmo weather station. This goes online, so I can always have the whole data of this process on my mobile, and I can check this out even in the weekend wherever I am if I want to control it. So with this process we make sure that the soundboard is really dried down perfectly. Now I tell you some more details about soundboards in general. So many people, when they see an old piano, they say, oh, are there cracks in the soundboard? And if there are cracks, they say, oh, this piano is destroyed. And if there are no cracks, they say, oh, it's good. But it doesn't make sense, really not. Because sometimes you have cracks and the piano is still really well. Sometimes there are no cracks and the piano is rubbish. I explain you why. First, let's think about how is a soundboard made. When you make a soundboard, you have these wood parts like this, and they are glued together. And underneath we have woods like this that hold it together, and the whole soundboard is like a crown. It's not flat, it's like this. And then the strings press on it. The same as on a violin, but on the violin you have 5 strings, and it's so this thick. Soundboard on the piano is thicker, of course, but we have more than 200 strings, and everything has a tension of about 60 kilograms. So we have more than 10 tons of tension inside here. So you can imagine soundboard is really under pressure, and only the really good pianos can survive this for a long time. So let's see this. So here we see the soundboard of this Grothian grand piano. Here you see the soundboard itself, and it's glued together here in parts. See? And these are the ribs, the rims. They're glued in this direction, and this one goes like this. So we have this whole soundboard here. And then between these parts that are glued together, they can open up again, and we have here a small crack. It's just opened up. But that's, I mean, wood is a material that reacts to humidity, so this can appear, and it doesn't really mean that the soundboard is bad. You don't even hear this, except when it goes off here. Then you can make some noise here, like or something. But soundboard crack is not this big problem as you usually think, as many people think. And it's not a big deal to repair. Now I show you some repaired soundboards. So this is also a Grothian Steinway grand piano. Here we see a repair. So the new wood here is slightly more white, but with the years this will disappear. And to avoid this, you can also bleach the whole soundboard or paint this darker so you won't see it, but in my opinion it's no problem to see this if it's well made. Here we have a Bechstein grand piano. Here you see the repairs, and I mean, if you don't look this closely, you hardly see this. It's really not visible because here the soundboard is bleached. There's no repair. Condense. Yeah, no, I will make. Here it is repaired. So most of the time you see it, but you can be sure it doesn't affect the quality of the tone at all. I now tell you what's the real point. So as I said before, the soundboard is made of wood parts. They're glued together like this. And then here we have the ribs. They're glued like this. So this whole part is like a membrane of a loudspeaker. If we watch it from the side, it's like this. Here we have this crown. It's a little bit like this. And here we have the bridges, the treble bridge and the bass bridge here. And the string go like this, or like this, the bass strings. And the point is, the important point is, we have the soundboard, we have the bridge, and here we have a pressure downwards. And the soundboard has this crown here, in this and in this direction, sometimes only in this direction. And now, what the problem is, if the soundboard dries down, you can have the problem that the soundboard goes down, then the string goes flat, like this. You don't have this tension, and then you have a problem. And if you have you lose, let's say 30% of the crown, maybe no problem. The sound changed a little bit, but this is a matter of taste. If you have less pressure, the sound is not so loud, but it has more singing quality, I would say. So that's not the reason to restore it. But if you have 80% loss, then the sound will become poor and you have to do this. So how do we restore this? As you saw, we dry it down totally. And then we have these cracks here. We have a crack. Then I open the crack up like this. And then we glue in a shim here. So it's now like this. And then we take this off here. Then it's sanded down here. And afterwards you won't see this anymore. Then if we have a rip here and it is it's gone off, here's a space. Then of course we glue it back with pressure here. It's also no problem. So if we have repaired these things, the soundboard is like new, but to get back the crown, we put in here. That's the underside of the piano. That's the soundboard, and then we push in here these, these wood parts like this with the pressure. I show you what I mean. This stuff. It's just normal hardwood. We press it in here to push it up again. About 10 of these. We push the whole soundboard up, and then when it's dried out, we fill these holes, and if we take out these, then we have the crown again. If this is not enough, sometimes it's not enough, then we can also lower the strings down or put on more wood here. That means we make new bridges here. So if the piano is restored like this, it's really like a new piano. So as you see, the cracked soundboard, cracks in the soundboard, this doesn't mean this piano is destroyed. Sometimes you have to repair it, sometimes you don't even have to repair it. The really important thing on a piano is not the soundboard cracks, it is the string pressure. And also, and I will explain you this in another video, the most important thing is the pin block, where the strings hold, and the bridges, where the strings press down. But this I tell you another time.